Forget to click that button and subscribe to my mom's channel.
What's up, y'all? What's up? Welcome to Shade Chronicles. I'm your host, Denise. Welcome back. I know it's been a while. Actually, it's just been a week, but I want to kind of just jump right into this episode. First off, this is my 10th episode because it's my motherfucking birthday. Let me take off these. Oh, wait a minute. I might need to keep these on because my phone is connected to it. Okay. Sorry, guys. Welcome back. First of all, the fact that this is my 10th episode, I'm super excited about it. I have so much to tell you guys, so many updates to give you. And I want to just start by saying thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for consistently logging on, supporting me, hitting me up in my DMs, holding me accountable. I appreciate you guys so much. So I kind of want to talk about, we'll start the conversation of we're here. You guys, when I first started this podcast, saw me in the midst of a very dark place. I mean, you saw me crying, you saw me grieving. I was in a lot of pain last year, but it was a transition of out of that pain. I was healing. I was going through the motions and really identifying with a lot of my triggers and trauma and learning how to move forward in life. Now I'm here and I've been sharing a lot of my triumphs and challenges. And I want to stay on that role because ultimately my goal is to encourage you to embrace the good, the bad, the ugly. You know, I want to encourage you to take the time and address anything that's going on in your life like I did. 2020 was my time of reflection. It was my year of exposing myself for maybe some of my ill thoughts of myself. Okay, because we both know I used to talk major shit to myself and also didn't give myself enough credit, you know. So just coming from that place, and now we're moving in a more intentional direction. Everything I do, I want it to be intentional. I want to make sure that I'm thinking things through. And I'm also taking the time to receive the lessons that I'm learning and integrating better outcomes, you know, integrating the change, being the change, and taking the steps and moving forward. One thing I've learned since a lot of last year, just a lot of that grief and hurt and pain, one thing I've learned is it's all temporary and that you can continue to grow and blossom and nurture yourself back to the position that you need to be great in life. For me, that required me to actually step aside, like almost take a look at myself outside of my own personal body and really start saying, Denise, you know what? You need to change. You know what? This is something that's not beneficial to you and your growth, and you need to take accountability. You need to own it. You need to keep moving forward. I learned that last year. Now that I'm here, I not only hold myself accountable. Excuse me one second. Carter, I'm doing a video and all I hear is you, Bring it down. Thank you, love. This is real life. Y'all know what it is. Carter, I can still hear you. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, he won't let me be great. But learning how to identify with those challenges and calling myself out and holding myself accountable and being better now that I'm in a position to where I'm moving forward from that and I'm walking in my triumph and I'm owning that shit. Now I'm holding myself accountable to when I get discouraged, get it together. Let's go. Pump yourself up. Or when I know that I'm not feeding myself the right words of encouragement and when I'm not feeding myself anything positive, I'm actually allowing myself to fall into drama, gossip, all of that. I'm checking myself. I stop immediately. This is not for me. This is not beneficial for me moving forward. So I guess you can say in this growth process, one thing I've learned the most valuable part is I have to take accountability for when things are on the downside and when they're on the upside, right? So when life is going great, it's my job to make sure that I'm still being intentional. It's my job to make sure that I'm still staying focused and that I'm staying true to what I had already set out and desired to be. Recently, I have been dedicating a lot of my time to my independent brand neck piece. I want to kind of give you guys a little bit more understanding of what neck piece is, but also I want to speak to the aspiring entrepreneurs out there. I want to speak to the people who are in a transition of learning and understanding themselves as a person, and you're diving head first into, you know what, I'm going to go get it. First of all, making the decision to detach yourself to what society deems to be standard, which is, and where we come from, where I come from, is, you know, you go work, you make money, you know, you make other people money, and that's how you make your money. For me, last year, I realized that I was so successful in the corporate world. I was extremely successful. I made great money. Didn't know how to manage it, which we'll talk about soon. But there was still like an underlining issue there. I wasn't happy. I never felt fulfilled. But what I was feeding myself and the people I was surrounding myself with, it was as if I was still looked at as I'm doing great because I was in a higher position. I was making great money. It appeared that all was well. Lies. And, you know, I blame that a lot on myself because, of course, I had to continue to hold up the facade that I was speaking, you know. But at some point, I had to break down and say, okay, you guys know, this is really not the life that I was looking to live. I'm really not happy. You know, I'm over here working 60 hours. I'm giving my dedication to this 9 to 5, and I barely get to spend time with my kids, even though it appeared that I was just this perfect mom. Lies. You know, it appeared that, you know, I didn't have a lot of debt. It appeared that I was in this happy marriage. It appeared so many different things, but it was all based on the perception I was giving. And I thought about that this past week, and I think that's why I chose not to post, you guys, because I recorded episode 10 maybe about 4 times. And each time, as you know, if you've been following me for a while, it's really important to me that before I release anything, I pray about it. I always pray about it, and I make sure God is using me and my words are intentional and that it's inspirational enough to where it'll touch someone in a positive way. I never want to lead people down the wrong path. So I'm very cognizant of that. And I take it very serious whenever I post this podcast. So I took time to really think about what I wanted to say for this 10th episode. And I think for me, where I am at in my life, I want it to be clear that now I can't go back. There's no going back, right? Now it requires me to set a standard. I have to set a standard so I know that I'm reaching something. I have to set a standard so there's something I can stand by, I can stick with. 1 second. Carter, I'm not going to ask you again. Turn it down. Thank you. All the way down. Sorry, guys. All the way down. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You see? You see? You see? Anyway, when I thought about that, I started thinking like, you know what, Denise, you already have placed standards. You started creating boundaries. I want to, you know, even touch on that because creating boundaries in a lot of my relationships, friendships, family, has come with a lot. It hasn't been very easy. And I realized that I have to be loyal to myself. What I mean by that is if I already set an expectation for myself, I need to stick by it. I need to hold myself accountable. I have to be able to do that. I have to be able to be solid within myself to stick to the standards I've created so I don't revert back to the old Denise. Because, let me tell you, okay, how easy it is for me to go back to that comfortable space of ignorance, okay, validation from other people, right? Feeling like I have to conform. It's comfortable there because it seems like a lot of people are stuck there. And that way, if I go back over there, I'm fitting in. And I realized that maybe I'm a square to their circle. I don't fit in. I never have. And so much of my life I've spent conforming. I can't do that anymore. Where my headspace is, and I've healed from that. I have to move forward. I don't want to stay in trauma. I don't want to stay in this healing zone. I want to constantly be evolving. I'm realizing now how important, like, just everything that I choose to be involved in has to reflect the same, right? You can come out. It's okay. So now the people I hang out with, I'm selective. I'm selective over the time I spend with people. I'm selective over the conversations we have, because this space is not for everyone. Some people are not going to understand it. Some people are not going to support it. And I understand that. And that's why the boundaries are in place. You know, a lot of my friends right now are all aspiring entrepreneurs. I'm so proud, I guess I can say, to be able to say I hang with a bunch of like go-getters. You know, we out here getting it. And anytime someone has a slip up or someone feels negative, we are there pushing them forward. We are not supporting the, you know what, I give up. That's not even part of our vocabulary. You know, we answer the phone for each other. We're going to be that voice of reason. We're going to be that person of encouragement, you know. And I found that when I think about my friendships I have now, and when I think about my past friendships, you know, it's just interesting how when I was in that toxic space, so were my friends and so were our conversations, and we supported each other in that space. Like, because in our minds, we weren't moving irregular. You know, it was normal for us to be in that environment, you know. And now when you're in a changed place mentally and spiritually and emotionally, now it's just like it's reflective in my environment, right? So now my friends we're no longer, I'm telling you, I wish somebody would come to our circle and try to speak any negativity, blasphemy. No, thank you. Like, you would be removed from the sister circle. That's how, you know, deep our connection is. We're not looking to for anything that's not inspiring us to move forward and be great. That's because we set a standard, right? Now a standard is set with our relationships, our friendships, our sister circle. It's a standard now. You can't come up in here with all of that. You know, it's okay to have a bad day, and it's okay to, you know, maybe have some doubt. But then we start speaking life and you receive it. And then tomorrow you back at it. And, you know, it's a blessing for me to be able to reflect on these things. I actually took the time to watch some of my very first podcast, the very first one with my daughter. Being able to watch that, I've watched it several times since I posted it, but just to actually see where we were, that wasn't even a year ago, but just to see where we were and see where we are now, it's crazy. You would think it was years ago. But because that conversation was had, that door was open, now there's just like this flowing traffic of constant communication, understanding, healing. Like, there is no more stagnant. We're not just sitting here at the block in the road, just, you know, at the side of the road with our hood popped open, waiting for someone to come rescue us. We are actually having these conversations and we're moving forward. So it's good to know that the relationships, even the ones with my children and my friends, have progressed and evolved to a point where we have a standard, you know, and I'm grateful for that. Even, you know, the episode with my cousin Brandy, unfortunately, you know, her father has passed on. My uncle has passed on. But Brandy now has been able to talk about that and realize, you know, some of those traumas that was involved with, you know, her father as a child. Now Brandy is more like, well, now this has made me even a better woman, a better partner now. Because now I see what I was lacking and I can feed that to myself and be great over here. She popping, you know. For me, having to really recognize some of my downfalls in my marriage, and realizing, how I operated. Carter, excuse me, 1 second. Sorry, y'all. Y'all already know how these kids are. Ugh. Anyway, where was I? Okay. Just with relationships, and that relationship alone was such a learning curve for me. And now I'm able to have solid relationships with my kids' fathers. We get along quite well. But we also are maturing as individuals. And now it's important. You guys help me with this little boy because he's driving me crazy. But now we understand that what's most important is making sure that the trauma we had as children doesn't trickle down to our kids. Now we realize, wait a minute. Let's not have them get to 36, 37 and just realize some of the issues that they need to discuss. Let's be parents where we have open dialogue, that we talk about these things, that it's normal to not be okay. It's very normal. And in our family, we're going to even take it even further, that if you're not okay, it's normal to get to okay. Let's work through it. Let's not just say, okay, we acknowledge that you might have some issues. Let's send you over here. No, I want to be all up in that. I want to help you through it. I want to support you. I want to guide you, which is something that we can't say we've all had. So just realizing where I've come from, and starting this podcast and being able to say, damn, Denise, this is what life is about. This is what life is about, that constant growth. And, realizing that in my house made me want to implement it more outside of that. Like, what do I want to do with my life? What do I want to spend my life doing? I love writing. I love it. Writing has always been a part of me. And Shade Chronicles is doing a great job. But I also have a vision for, promoting this confidence. Like, I've never felt this confident in my life. Like, you really can't tell me nothing right now. I believe wholeheartedly that anything I touch is going to be fruitful, that I'm going to be successful, that I'm capable of many things, and that I can do anything I desire to do. Can't nobody tell me shit. Okay? And I realized that I want to continue to exude this freedom of not conforming. I want to be a person that truly can say she's lived her life all the way down to how she, protruded it to be. My own expectations, not to what everybody else thinks it is. It's okay if you don't agree with me. I'm absolutely fine with that. But who said you make the rules for my life? Nobody. I make those rules. Absolutely me. And that's when I came up with the idea of neck peace. Neck peace, which is neck, PEACE, is a statement of alignment. It's, I am one with myself. I am at peace with myself. And I use the word neck because it's pretty much your focal point. And it's your center, and I just feel like it was the perfect name for how I was feeling. Like, I really feel like I'm just at peace. And, we all walk out into the world with some type of armor, whether it's, you can be defensive, or whether it can be, just confidence, whatever your armor is. I thought it was important that it reflects how you're feeling on the inside. No more hiding behind your armor. Why not be reflective of how I'm really feeling? I feel amazing. I feel amazing. And I wanted to challenge and push myself. And I've always used accessories as statement pieces. I use them to help me be comfortable. I use them to help me ease my nerves. It was my way of building my confidence, and conversation start pieces, just having opportunities, are using accessories as just focal points to just kind of help me out when I was in uncomfortable situations. For instance, I had a pair of earrings that says hello, and I would wear those earrings to like board meetings and conferences, anytime I needed to network, because a lot of people assume with my personality that I naturally can just grace a room. I cannot. It takes a lot of motivation, and I got to pump myself up. Most of the time, I got to be feeling good and looking good. So with Neck Piece, the goal was, you know what? I'm about to inspire people to just feel the same way they feel on the inside, on the outside. And each piece that I selected, to me, exudes that. It's just like it makes you feel confident. It attracts, a certain type of energy. It says something about you. And I think that's important. It sets a standard of, being a woman with your own expectations, being a woman who doesn't conform. They're risky pieces. They're different. They're pieces that inspire and encourage you to be yourself. I try to be very versatile and try different things. I personally do not wear bikinis. So a lot of people were like, what? You're going to sell bikinis? You goddamn right I am. Why? Because I'm going to embrace that fear. I'm not walking away from fear no more. I'm walking right in there. And I'm going to say I'm here. I'm all up in here. Because I believe that when something is telling you, I think you should still walk that way. I think that it's just telling you, sometimes it's just nerves. Sometimes those nerves get the best of you, and it's saying, because it's so used to being comfortable in an environment where you're in the background. And I don't believe that's who God made any of us to be. I believe we all have a forefront somewhere in this world. We all have a specialty. It's all in believing in yourself enough to go and figure it out, to find it. And I think I found that place. I really have. Even in my love life, right? Standards. I've realized that I've fallen short in a lot of my relationships, my romantic relationships, because I've always conformed. I've always been, well, you like me, so I'm going to just stick with it, even though I don't like X, Y, and Z about you. But I'd rather conform because I think I can make this work. I'm more susceptible to conforming because my personality believes that. I'm shapeable, so I can make this work. Now that I've set a standard, I can't even go back, to those type of relationships. Now I just have to be honest and say, you know what? I think you're a really great person, but this is not going to work for me because of X, Y, and Z. I used to be afraid to have those conversations because I was afraid to be alone. I was afraid of, saying no because I didn't want to be looked at as a bitch. It was always a way that I conformed. The old Denise was just very conforming. She fit the mold and it was likable. I think I made a lot of relationships being that Denise. And I can honestly say that those relationships, those friendships are real friendships, but I can't say they truly know who I am because a lot of times I probably just conformed to whatever it is the relationship was based on. And that's really unfortunate, The people I have in my life now, they know me, they get me, and they accept me, and they love me, and they encourage me to continue to just be that person. I'm finding that even in business, as I continue to venture into entrepreneurship, I am taking so many of my lessons learned personally and professionally, and I'm implementing them into my future, into my present. I'm learning how to have these difficult conversations ahead of time. Let's just nip it in the butt now, or let me be vocal about what it is I desire to do. One thing in particular is I want to be successful, and I don't want to wait for someone to put me at the winner's circle. Not their job. It's my job to put myself at the winner's circle. So, even with Neck Piece, let me tell you, anybody that I've worked with, everyone that I've hired, the models that I reached out to, Everything was intentional. Everything was intentional. If you were not out here really trying to get it, if you don't have goals and aspirations, I was looking for people who were really trying to make an impact. I wasn't looking for models that was trying to look cute in bathing suits, because if I'm being honest, neck piece is not just about bathing suits, right? It's about being aligned with yourself. It's an experience. The accessories are great, but you make the accessories. It's the experience. It's how does it make you feel when you put it on? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people with a desire to be intentional in every aspect of their lives. And for instance, Will, the photographer that I hired, we have a very interesting story on how we met, but I'm loyal to him in so many ways because we are growing professionally together. And he sees my vision. He always supports me. He gets me. But most of all, we're always pouring into each other. When we work together, we're pouring into each other. And I need to be surrounded by people like that. Even down to the studio, guys, like figuring out where I wanted to shoot, the location, and creating that relationship and the environment that I wanted. It's all important. The idea of neck piece is not, you don't get to experience until you purchase a piece. My goal is to set a standard for myself as an independent business. My standard is when people work with Denise, this is what you can expect. And I've been working so hard on, creating this type of experience, because neck piece for me starts from the moment of innovation, to, marketing, to, the photo shoots, to putting the website together, to all the way down to when a customer decides to purchase it, I pack it and ship it out. All of that matters to me. All of it has to be thought about, and it has to be intentional, because I'm trying to give you an experience. This experience is a part of me. This experience speaks for who I am as an individual. All of it matters. And, being here in my 10th episode of my podcast and not really sure what I was going to talk about, I realized, like, wow, Denise, you've come a really long way. You have already inspired a lot of people. People are excited about neck piece, and they haven't even seen not one piece from my line. But I've had people DM me like, dude, I'm so looking forward to this drop. You got me excited about it. And I believe that I'm able to create that type of hype because I've been myself. I've been really out here, connecting with people and speaking life into them and exuding the same, exuding exactly what I'm telling you. I'm showing you that. It's nothing different behind the scenes. Everything that you see on my social media is exactly what goes on behind the scenes, and I don't ever want to be that person that shows you one thing, but it's a total different thing behind the scenes. Nah, I don't have time for that. This is the standard. I'm setting a standard for myself as a person, myself as a brand, myself as a mother, myself as a lover, myself as a friend, everything. I don't need to meet anyone else's expectations but my own. My goals in life is to be intentional, is to be successful, is to make sure that I'm leaving a legacy behind for my children. And in doing so, I just got to make sure that I'm always solid in myself. And the best way to do that is to constantly make standards. And as I continue to evolve, my standards will change. So if I was to end this podcast, this recording, I would have to just say, be encouraged as always. Do not give up on yourself. Do not forget who you are, your capabilities, what you have inside of you is unique. Not everyone has it. Your desires of your heart, those are the things that you think about. And they don't have to stay secluded, to where you only think them and jot them down and they never come to fruition. It's fruition or whatever, however you want to say it. Ultimately, be inspired and encouraged enough to be your own cheerleader. Believe in yourself. You're going to have moments where it's just like, I can't do this. I've had those moments, but they don't last long because the moment I feel it, I ain't even gonna lie. I'm gonna grab a cookie or a bag of chips. But while I eat said bag of chips, girl, you got this. Tomorrow, you about to get up. You about to work it out. You gonna do some squats. We gonna stay committed. Matter of fact, go buy your ass, some tuna and crackers instead of these chips. Find better snacks. Matter of fact, let's get some carrots. I'm learning to embrace the moments when there is some discernment. Embrace them, learn from them, but continue to pick up the pieces and keep going. I can't wallow for too long. I won't allow myself because there's too much work to be done. Life is short. My mother passed away at 54. As far as we know, she was pretty healthy. You know what I mean? So for me, that encourages me to, honey, you need to live like you got 2 seconds left. Let's go. Keep moving forward. Thank you guys for always rocking with me. I really hope that I'm touching and blessing you guys in some kind of way. I'm going to tell you right now, you guys won't hear from me for the next, probably until after the photo shoot. I am not neglecting you guys. I'm actually literally at my computer right now, revamping Shade Chronicles, revamping my blog and my entire site. As you can see, Hood Intentions has even shut down. We are setting a standard. I'm setting a standard in everything in my life, which includes all my businesses across the board. Keep the hype going, you guys. Be your own hype man. Set that motherfucking standard. When people start to see that magic and see your shine, they going to stick to that standard and they going to respect it. Set a standard, stick to it. That's the next gem I'm throwing to y'all, them standards. Who cares about everybody else's expectation? We not 9-to-5ers no more. You're your own boss in your own life. Set your own expectations. Do not conform. We are not meant to conform to this. We are meant to bring our desires to life and be successful, be encouraged. You were not made to be weak. You were not made to be lonely, sad, hurt, scorned, none of that. Happiness is what you deem it to be when you choose to make it happen for yourself. Be great. Make the choice to live to your own expectations and live a happy life full of abundance. Focus on yourself. That's it. It's real simple. Stay in your lane because your lane is where all the good shit is. Your lane is where all the obstacles are for you. They're already there for you, but they're also there for you to overcome. You know what I mean? I love you guys. Stay solid, and you guys will hear from me soon. Take care.